Hi, my name is Nicole Mendenhall, and this is my cultural interview project. So first I'm just going to start with a little bit of background on who I interviewed. I interviewed a girl named Saidi. She was born in Guatemala, raised in Costa Rica, and she's 23 years old and a senior in the dance program here at BYU. She identifies as Hispanic and Latino and also Costa Rican. She's also a member of the BYU Ballroom Touring Company, which is actually how we met. We've been dancing together now for about a year, and she's an amazing contribution to the team. She's also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Next, we're going to go into the interview and some of the things that we discussed. So first, we're just going to talk about a little bit of some of the background information she gave us about growing up, where she did, and some of the things she liked there. So when I asked her which country or countries did you grow up in, she stated she was born in Guatemala and raised in Costa Rica. Her nationality and culture that she identifies with, as mentioned before, Hispanic and Latino, and also identifies as Costa Rican. She spoke Spanish where she lived, and when I asked her what her favorite part was about her home country, she said that she loved the culture, the weather, the beaches, and the people. And then when I asked her what was the most difficult part about leaving, she stated that she didn't like leaving her family and some of the memories she created there. Some more in-depth points that we talked about transitioning to the United States and how that was difficult. First, I asked her what surprised her when she started living here. She mentioned how different the culture is. People here are more private in their personal lives and less expressive emotionally. I asked her if she could bring one social norm from your home country to America. What would you bring? She mentioned that they greet each other with a kiss on the cheek, which I think is really interesting because I actually didn't know that was a cultural norm there. I asked her about her story of moving to the United States and asked her if the transition was difficult. And she stated that she came to the U.S. when she was 18 years old after graduating from high school. And the difficult part was definitely adapting to a new culture with different norms. I asked her if she feels she's still able to maintain her culture here, and she said yes, she does. It feels like a free country, and she can sense that freedom and feels safe. And if I asked her if she feels her culture is valued here, she says it's definitely increased in importance in the last couple of years. Latinos are a predominant community in the States, and each day a more structured and stable American Hispanic culture is created. And lastly, when I asked her if there was a difference between the healthcare here in the country she grew up in, she mentioned that in Costa Rica, healthcare is a right, where here it's more of a privilege. Just a little reflection. I think some of the most interesting parts about our interview together is that she mentioned that Hispanic culture here in America is respected and safe. I was very glad to hear that she feels a growing sense of community here. And it honestly surprised me because I feel like they have so many disparities and sometimes aren't acknowledged for their disadvantages. Obviously, this is her personal experience, but she mentioned she has a solid group of friends who share the same feelings, and I really think this is a great achievement our country can be proud of. She also mentioned the healthcare difference, which I did not know was actually right in Costa Rica, but this proves once again that America is falling behind in being able to provide health services for all and can create a tough transition for immigrating individuals. And lastly, I think the most important thing that I learned from her insight is that Americans are less expressive. I found this really interesting because, in my opinion, sometimes I feel Americans are a bit too dramatic or maybe a little bit too open, so it's really interesting to see that difference, and I'd love to experience for myself the emotions and communication there, because if there is a huge difference, it would be very interesting to see. And that is a quick summary of the interview I had with Saidi.